Hello, you're watching Monday edition of News Mongolia. Today is May 23rd. For our top stories, Government of Mongolia and the UN commit to 5 years of sustainable development cooperation. Good business ethics attract foreign investors. Unimat Technology Club has hosted 300 children. For other news, stay tuned. The Business Ethics Center conducted a survey among Mongolian businesses and found some surprising results. The survey was conducted among 100 members of the Mongolian National Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Out of 100 companies, 59% had no intentional regulations prohibiting bribery and corruption, 30.4% had no code of ethics, 75.5% had not conducted a corruption risk assessment, 56% had no experience with transparency and whistleblowing, and 62.7% hadn't identified measures for preventing conflicts of interest. Based on the survey results, it was concluded that domestic companies and business entities should focus on improving their management.
To enter foreign markets and compete with foreign companies, domestic companies should adopt good business ethics in their operations. To attract foreign investment and find new partners, we have no choice but to follow good business ethics and strategy.
Companies with good business ethics have a strict policy against corruption, bribery, and conflicts of interest, as they consider their reputation an important business asset.
The business should be transparent, free of bribery, and respect human rights. The company should adhere to a code of ethics on the personal and business management levels. This is the foundation for a company's sustainable and long-term existence.
To survive the competition, Mongolian companies usually form connections and networks in politics and public service. The survey results show that companies that have failed to form such networks also fail to expand their business. Business representatives note that the introduction of good business ethics and practices will reduce inequality in the domestic market.
The government of Mongolia and the United Nations country team in Mongolia signed a flagship document that will strategically guide the UN's development cooperation with Mongolia over the next 5 years. The signing ceremony was attended by dignitaries, cabinet members, and UN country team representatives. The UN Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework for Mongolia 2023 to 2027 is closely aligned with the Mongolian National Development Agenda, Vision 2050, and UN development system reforms. The UN country team, in extensive and multiple consultations with all relevant stakeholders, formulated its vision and 3 strategic priorities committed to human development and well-being in a green, healthy, and safe living environment, and a cohesive society based on the rule of law and human rights.
But primarily we're looking at 4 major areas. People. The first strategic priorities is around people, about human development and building people capacity. So including basic services like education, health, well-being, social services, social protection, and all those areas which are needing for all Mongolian people to have inclusive and sustainable development, leaving no one behind. So that's about Mongol Chod, the people of Mongolia, to make them more having a better future ahead. Second is about prosperity and planet together. So prosperity in terms of green growth economy, not dependent only on mining, but a more diversified economy which will lead to higher levels of engagement for people and planet together, and also looking at the environment, that we leverage the environmental capacities that Mongolia has and mitigate the risks that we're having with climate change, etc., and be able to take it forward in a way. And then the third area is about more effective governance. How do you have more transparent institutions which will help the economy to do better, the people to do better, and have, based on human rights, based on principles and values that the UN stands for. So together with the government, these are the 3 priority areas that we'll be working on together with government around people, planet, prosperity, and peace.
The new cooperation framework will accelerate the achievement of SDGs in Mongolia through the UN agencies operating in Mongolia. The UN's Leave No One Behind approach and human rights-based principles are central to implementing the United Nations Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework. Guided by the UNSDCF as an overarching document, the UN entities in Mongolia will develop their counter-programs to bring the vision and strategic priorities outlined in the cooperation framework to realization.
We have just signed the UN Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework for Mongolia for 2023 through 2027. I'm confident that in the next 5 years, our bilateral cooperation will make an important contribution to the development of an inclusive, disaster-resistant, sustainable, healthy, and safe environment that respects human rights. The United Nations is a reliable partner to Mongolia. In the near future, the parties will work on implementing the cooperation framework with the development of an action plan and financial strategies.
In partnership with the government, development partners, the private sector, civil society, and others, the UN system in Mongolia will work to achieve these goals through technical assistance, capacity building, innovative pilot initiatives, policy advice, catalyzing development finance, social mobilization, and more. Our next story takes us to a children's technology club where children learn how to make different items using professional equipment and tools.
This is Unimat Education Club. Here we can see fabrication equipment and tools such as drill, laser cutter, and table saw. Children of various ages learn to make things using different materials such as plywood and OSB.
First, I create a design and draw it on the wood. Then I cut it using a laser cutter. Let's look at the examples of Germany and Japan. They have electronic companies that are 100 years old. How have they managed to have a skilled workforce for such a long time? I think it's related to their education system. They have special education programs that promote technology skills. According to the latest data, there are 1,000 secondary schools in Mongolia. Within 10 years, we have managed to equip technology clubs at around 330 secondary schools.
Unimat Education Club has 3 class levels. Children learn to sketch designs, cut wood, and get acquainted with the basics of mechanics and movements, and learn to use equipment and tools.
I've been in this club for 3 years. When I learn new skills and make new crafts, I show them to my parents, and I feel like doing more and learning more. When children finish their projects, they demonstrate them to their parents and feel proud of their achievements. It inspires them to learn and to do more.
Over the past 6 years, Unimat Education Club has hosted 300 students.
Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Here comes the weather forecast for the world's major cities. This is it for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you tomorrow with more news updates. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.